Welcome to yet another exciting edition of World's Eye, where we focus to keep you updated with stories from all over the world. To start us off is a story from Kenya, where the eagerly anticipated day pulled in as the 6 post-election suspects are named. And in Nepal, we see a sad story from an air crash. In Telescope, we feature gingerbread houses, which were displayed at Stockholm's Architecture Museum as mummified head of beloved French King Henry IV is found. In Relief, we have quite interesting stories where inmates at Peruvian women's prison hold Christmas cook-off as conductor Sigi Ozawa returns. Also get to know on what 2010 had for you, from sports to the odd and the foods that we defined our culture. For more details of these stories, please stay tuned. The long-awaited time for the ICC Chief Prosecutor Luis Moreno Ocampo to name the suspected perpetrators of the 2007 post-election violence finally came when he named the 6 suspected members to have supported the violence. However, the news was received with different reactions, with the suspects rejecting the allegations. Let's have a look at the details of the story from the post-election violence to the present.
3 years after an eruption of ethnic violence killed 1,220 people and displaced more than 350,000, the International Criminal Court's chief prosecutor finally announced the names of 6 politicians he believes orchestrated the post-election mayhem. The results of the December 2007 elections were disputed, prompting protests which escalated in early 2008 when militias attacked opponents and police used excessive force.
We found that as early December 2008, William Ruto and Henry Koski, leaders of the Orange Democratic Party movement, began preparing a criminal plan to attack those identified as supporters of the Party of National Unity, in particular in the area of Rift Valley.
Violence was centered in Rift Valley, an opposition stronghold. The government has on various occasions stated that the cases arising out of the post-election violence should be resolved through an independent and credible local judicial process, but its attempts to pass laws in parliament for the formation of a local court were defeated by lawmakers, prompting the ICC to take the cases. ICC Chief Prosecutor Luis Moreno Ocampo started a formal investigation in March 2010 into the violence in which 1,220 people died and more than 350 were displaced, severely denting Kenya's reputation for stability in a turbulent region.
The people who've been named today, of course, it strikes at the very heart of Kenya. You almost feel that even if you had seen the names in all these, in the human rights report, for example, that you almost feel like you've been swept off your feet by this. But then you're also thinking that we have this window of opportunity between now and 2012 to sort out quite a number of issues. The only surprise was Mudaura. Because for the head of civil service, Mr. Francis Mudaura, that you got the sense that all the others were somehow involved. Not somehow involved, were going to be mentioned. And you then, there was quite a picture created. There were various lists going around Nairobi, and these lists had most of these names that we are seeing today, which of course doesn't mean that they're guilty.
Because we believe Uhuru is innocent, we believe Mudaura is innocent, we believe if it was not Ali, this town could have been destroyed. And we know very well that the real perpetrators of these violence are not in that list.
The widely awaited announcement of the ICC's cases has the potential to destabilize Kenya's fragile coalition or unity government, which was formed by President Mwai Kibaki and Prime Minister Raila Odinga to bring the post-election violence to an end and restore stability.
Mimi Samuel William Arap Ruto naapa kwamba nitakuwa mwaminifu kwa Jamhuri ya Kenya.
ICC Chief Prosecutor Luis Moreno Ocampo said he was requesting summons for suspended Education Minister William Ruto, Finance Minister Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, Industrialization Minister Henry Kiprono Kosgei, and former Police Chief Mohamed Hussein Ali for alleged murder, deportation, and persecutions. The other suspects are Radio Executive Joshua Arap Sang and Kenya's Secretary to the Cabinet, Francis Kirimi Mudaura.
I am deeply shocked that the prosecutor has made an application to summon me to the ICC. I state categorically that I had nothing whatsoever to do with the 2008 post-election violence, and I'm innocent of the allegations made.
Mr. Ocampo's list of 6 persons from an apparent 2 sides of political divides is an indicator of a weird criterion of creating grand coalition in criminal responsibility. One is left wondering as to how such scenarios can possibly happen. Where on earth can 2 competing political divides produce equal number of criminal suspects?
Ruto, who denies he was behind the violence, has started legal moves to try to prevent the ICC from naming him and other suspects. Kenyatta has said he has nothing to fear from the ICC. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Finance Uhuru Kenyatta said there won't be much impact as the government will continue and economic projections will be sustained.
I don't think it will have much impact. We are still working here and work will continue. Kenya will continue. The government will continue. The economy will continue. So as far as I'm concerned, I don't think it will have any impact whatsoever. Kenya continues and we have proved that we are a mature country able to handle our issues.
On the streets, it was a welcome move to most residents, though some were shocked to hear a suspect who is not known at all. As a court of the last resort, the ICC's task is to try those most responsible for the violence, and the Kenyan government coalition said prosecutions at the ICC level will defer future violence, especially around the 2012 elections.
We'd be happy to see most of these guys brought to books because we want to end the impunity.
I am fully aware of the anxiety that the announcement by the ICC has caused amongst Kenyans. As I stated yesterday, we must not be in a hurry to prejudge the individuals mentioned. The pre-trial process has only begun at The Hague. We expect the process to follow the rules of natural justice. In the meantime, I appeal for calm amongst all Kenyans. Let us also bear in mind that we should all embrace the process of national reconciliation and healing. We are one nation.
Well, the truth is not yet known, and it's my plea to all Kenyans to remain calm without speculations, which can lead to scandals. Moving on to Nepal, we have a sad story where search and rescue workers retrieve the 22 mangled bodies of those killed when a small plane crashed in Himalayan foothills of eastern Nepal.
Army and civilian helicopters airlifted the bodies of victims of a plane crash in Nepal the previous day. All 19 passengers and a crew of 3 were killed in the crash, the second deadly accident in less than 6 months. The Twin Otter aircraft operated by Tara Air between the remote town of Lamidanda and the capital Kathmandu had lost contact shortly after takeoff from the mountainous airstrip in the foothill of eastern Nepal. Officials say the aircraft probably plowed into a 9,000 feet high mountain. Tara Air officials said 18 passengers were Bhutanese, 1 was a Tibetan holding an American passport, and 3 Nepal crew.
We are really impressed by the prompt actions that your government particularly the Minister of Home Affairs under your coordination, that everything has taken so fast and that by now the bodies have already arrived here, and I think now we have to think of what we do next. Thank you very much for that.
Only two of them, okay? The rest will not go in. Thank you. No, we won't go in.
The passengers were pilgrims returning from a shrine in Lamidanda in Kotang district, 162 kilometers east of Kathmandu.
It is very, very unfortunate and that this has happened here, that the group of Bhutanese, my fellow citizens from my country, have come here for Tirtha Yatra, you call, on pilgrim, which is very, very common because Nepal is a country which is blessed with so many holy places, be it of Hindu, be it of Buddhist, and then be it of any other faith and religion. And when they have come here on this religion pilgrim, that they have passed away.
Small aircraft flying the remote and dusty airstrips in Nepal are common modes of transport in the country's mountainous regions that lack proper roads and can be reached only on foot. 14 people, including 6 foreigners, were killed in a crash in August in rainy weather near Kathmandu.
They are from His Majesty's office. Is also from His Majesty's office. Then we have got.
We at GBLs would like to send our condolences to all who are involved, and above all, let them know that God is always under control. Elaborate gingerbread houses go on display at Stockholm's Architecture Museum, where an apple, an ice block, and even a laptop are displayed in a gingerbread exhibition with the theme, I am home now.
The annual gingerbread exhibition at the Architecture Museum in Stockholm features 95 creations of the Christmas cookie sent from people all over Sweden. Every year there is also a competition. The gingerbread houses were divided up in 3 categories.
They did the exhibition only for a few days and it became such a success, and radio and television were there. Since then, it's been a tradition to have a gingerbread competition every year. Perhaps one feels rootless, one doesn't have a home, or one has, as is often the case in Sweden nowadays. When a person comes from another country, homes in many places, one can have the heart in a place but live in another.
Architects and professional bakers, children up to the age of 12, and everyone else who bakes. This year, the Professional Bakers Prize was awarded the house with the theme, Home is a warm blanket, and the choice to furnish it as one pleases.
It's a good idea if one wants to be interactive with visitors. It's a material everyone can afford, and not like bringing in bricks. And the format has also been determined since the beginning. That one has a base of 50 times 50 centimeters, so that you don't get the items that are more than a meter high. It's a realistic project around which people can have thoughts and ideas in 3 dimensions and rooms.
The jury's Special Craftsmanship Prize was won by a family that had made a 100% perfect gingerbread house according to the jury. The gingerbread houses will remain on show until January 9th, 2011.
Looks delicious. Now, the rediscovery of French King Henry IV mummified head, presumed missing for at least 4 centuries after French Revolution, makes shockwaves in history after scientists finally confirm its authenticity.
It's not your average archaeological discovery to unearth the missing head of one of France's most beloved kings, Henry IV. Despite lack of veritable DNA evidence, scientists led by forensic expert Dr. Philippe Chalier were still able to confirm the head's authenticity at a news conference in Paris.
Donc au total, dans la période ADN, 7 There are so many arguments in favor of identification, at least 30 elements that go in that direction, and there isn't a single argument that will include identification. The conclusion virtually imposes itself on us. This head is exceptionally that of Henry IV.
After 6 months of scientific tests, Dr. Charlier's team of 19 researchers confirmed that the head indeed belongs to Henry IV.
Yes, the moment is very emotional, first of all, because of the result, no? Because till today or 2 days ago, we didn't know the result of this investigation. And now it's also very emotional because to have a head of my ancestor so close to me physically is something, people don't used to have it. And now I have a responsibility, familial responsibility and moral responsibility to try to bury this head in the best place for him, that I think is Saint-Denis.
As per the examination of the head, the most telling signs were a lesion above the right nostril, which was considered a facial curiosity of Henry IV, as well as a bone structure above the upper jaw, which matched a stab wound from a former assassination attempt. Thanks to modern radiocarbon testing and digital facial reconstruction, the researchers were able to determine that the head dated from the 17th century and that it resembled all known visual and sculptural portraits of Henry IV after his death. Henry IV's head was rediscovered by accident by journalists Stéphane Gabet and Pierre Bellet early in January in the attic of Jacques Bélanger, who had decided not to reveal its existence until now. The discovery coincides with the end of King Henry IV's year in France, commemorating 400 years since the king's assassination. Henry IV is considered as one of France's most popular monarchs, as he facilitated peace between the warring Catholics and Protestants and constructed famous Parisian landmarks such as the Pont-Neuf Bridge and the Place des Vosges Square during his reign.
In history, there are big and small enigmas. This rediscovery of Henry IV's head that we used to talk about and which we have abandoned ever since 1693 is indeed a very important moment, in the sense where this head that should never have left the Saint Denis Basilica will finally be returned.
He was assassinated in 1610 by a Catholic fanatic, François Ravaillac.
Christmas is nearing, and I think you don't have to miss out some of the interesting things that makes Christmas outstanding. So don't go away. We'll be back bringing you that up next. The Christmas spirit is alive and in Lima's Santa Monica Women's Prison, where international inmates from the US, Germany, Spain and other countries compete in a Christmas cook-off. Elsewhere, famed Japanese conductor Seiji Ozawa suppresses health problems during an energetic performance at New York City. And lastly, have a look back at the wonders and joys of 2010 that dominates the headlines.
Inmates at Lima's Santa Monica Women's Prison got into the Christmas spirit while behind bars as international prisoners competed in a Christmas cook-off organized by prison staff. One inmate, dressed as Santa Claus, welcomed family members and prison officials as they entered the facility, where teams of inmates from 12 nations were cooking traditional holiday dishes from their home countries, including the United States.
I am preparing a baked glazed ham, which is a traditional American food for Christmas. We prepare this every year for Christmas. And along with that, I have creamed potatoes and English peas and corn. This is also traditional for my country. I have been here in Peru for 2.5 months, unfortunately for drugs. And I just want to tell my family that I miss you. I hope to be home soon. My boyfriend, I love you, and I miss you very much.
The Philippines, Spain, Germany, and of course Peru. After carefully tasting the dishes and scoring them, the judges announced Nicole Batzko of Germany the winner.
We have representatives from Spain, Mexico, Finland, and such different countries like Latvia. And through their dishes, we are going to learn a bit about how to cook them. This is an activity related to how inmates are treated. We have 854 inmates in this prison, and 137 of them are foreigners.
Batsko prepared a traditional German dish called kiarie, a German meatloaf made with ground beef and ground pork with pepper stuffed with eggs with a side of golden potatoes.
Oh, I'm so feliz. This is a good day for me and I'm so happy I'm the winner here. And I'm not so long here, but this is a very good day and inside I feel me so good, really. And this name is from Germany. And in Germany is the name falscher Hase with Rotkohl. It's very important to Navidad to eat this food.
The Santa Monica prison presented her with a coupon valid for a cooking course and a cookbook as Batsko celebrated the win with the other prisoners.
Tenemos representantes.
Recovering from illness, world-renowned conductor Seiji Ozawa led the Saito Kinen Orchestra through an energetic performance at Carnegie Hall in New York.
I knew he had some health issues, but I got the impression that he came alive again.
The concert is part of the Japan New York City Festival, for which Ozawa also serves as artistic director.
When he first appeared on stage, he was talking to the musicians and I thought they were ready to create music and I liked that feeling. It was very powerful.
Ozawa led the orchestra as it performed Johannes Brahms Symphony No. 1 to a sold-out audience. While conducting, Ozawa sat down at times as he continues to recover from a sciatic condition.
He was awesome. He was strong. He was wonderful. It was just incredible. It was like he gave it 150% and the orchestra gave him 150%.
Also in January of this year, Ozawa announced that he was diagnosed with esophageal cancer and cancelled 6 months of performances to undergo treatment. This was also a return to Carnegie Hall for Ozawa. The 75-year-old has conducted more than 180 concerts there since 1961. Every 4 years around the globe, the football ignorant turn into fans and fans turn into experts. In 2010, the planet again found itself in the grip of World Cup fever. Most recognizable sound of the World Cup wasn't the cheer of soccer fans or their anthems, or even the cry of goal, but the blaring of vuvuzelas accompanying every game. It seems there was no escaping the vuvuzela blast in South Africa, as it was heard in the pubs, on the streets, and generally anywhere there was word on the game. Around the world, fans took every opportunity to literally show their colors en masse, like brightly orange-clad Dutch supporters flooding the streets of Amsterdam streets to watch the climax of the World Cup. The cup instilled a passion in people to see anyone or anything play the game, be it fish in Japan, robots in China, or penguins in South Korea. But more than just providing an amusing distraction, some animals played a more serious role in the games, with their predictions of the finalist winner even influencing betting odds. But the bird and other animal pundits were mere pretenders to the most watched tipster of the cup. Paul the octopus, who predicted the correct results in 8 out of 8 matches, became one of the biggest stars of the World Cup. Sadly, Paul passed away later in the year, a memorial to the celebrity erected in his honor at the German aquarium that was his home. Unfortunately, Paul's fame did no favors to his fellow cephalopod mollusks, with octopus becoming a popular novelty dish during the cup, particularly with the fans of losing teams. Whatever the authenticity of Paul's psychic ability, there was no denying the final results as Spanish fans exploded into celebrations after Andres Iniesta scored a goal against the Netherlands in extra time. Putting the Spaniards ahead of the Dutch 1-0 and giving them their first World Cup title in history. 2010 was a year for new world records and never-before-seen feats of daring. Thousands of onlookers followed one French roller skater's jump from Paris Eiffel Tower as he dove from the first floor to a 40-meter high jump and into the record books as the highest jump ever performed. While it may not have set any records, the rodeo and bull riding among the city's skyscrapers and concrete sidewalks in New York's Times Square was a first for many suited commuters. One thing a few people do see every year, but no less unusual for it, are the log riders storming down a hill on a tree trunk, risking their lives in exchange during an annual ritual festival in Suwa, Japan.
So a couple of eels in a sock, isn't it?
Like the log riding, safety in numbers wasn't a principle that necessarily applied to the 120-odd global-based jumpers who dove from the tip of Malaysia's tallest communication tower.
Thank you for staying tuned, hoping to join you for the next edition of World's Eye. I have been your host, Grace Mtango, saying goodbye and have a superb time.